What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of The Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and The Grappling Hour. I hope you're having a great day. I'm having a very good day. My voice is mostly back. I have just come back from the region of Las Vegas, where there was, I don't know if you guys heard about this, a little event called WrestleMania that sold out for multiple days. Huge multi-million-dollar gates every single day. And yes, your boy went for over 7 different WrestleMania-themed events during that week. And we have lots to talk about. But speaking of which, I'd like to go ahead and cut it now to my good friend, Tim Freeman, who did not go to WrestleMania, but I'm sure saw some clips. Tim?
I did not go, but I did observe live on Netflix. Thank you very much. Or I think it was on Peacock, maybe. I think they did put it on Peacock. I don't remember.
It's Peacock.
But it was Peacock, yeah. But I did, yeah. Netflix has Raw. Sorry, Triple H. Don't put the rock on me. Yeah, it was a great event. I was looking for you. I'm like, man, where is the Mexican dude getting ready to slang the beer? I didn't see you though, man. I didn't see you, and I was a little disappointed, but I'm glad you got to go.
There, the error of your ways, I hear it right away, was you trying to find one crowd full of lots of Mexicans. That's where you went wrong. There were so many, and like, it's hard to explain why WrestleMania is such an appealing thing to so many people. But I can tell you, sure as shit, we made a lot of friends. And we'll get to it because it is on the board. But you did bring up an interesting proposition here. You said you were trying to find me. Did you know that one of the things that they do, an innovation that the WWE does, is that they create this online camera? It's like a drone. And this drone takes 2 shots and shows you, like, you're supposed to tag yourself. And it's an innovation that the WWE does that I don't know many other people do. But of course, I always look for myself because I do love myself. So when I was looking for it, Tim, I have to say on day 2, they took the photo when I was not in my seat because I went to go say hi to a friend of the show, John Calistine. And I was mad because that was the one time I wasn't in my seat, is when they decided to take that photo. So that was day 1 or 2. The good news is that, yes, you could find me on the day 1 camera. And would you like to know what I look like on that day 1 camera?
Absolutely. I'm dying. I can't wait.
Well, the reason why I ask is that we were right in the middle of Celebrity Lane. So we had Israel Adesanya passing by us. DC, Daniel Cormier was there, went on no less than 3 popcorn breaks during that entire week. Not even that week. That was within the first hour. And it was amazing because I go, did he really get... I was like, did he really get up for another hot dog? No. It was a popcorn bucket, and he was swarmed. And DC's the kind of guy who eats his popcorn like this, where he's just like, this is good. I love this. But he kept getting stormed and mobbed by people. Here's what I can show you I look like. And it's not far from what I'm sure you would imagine. Because when I saw this photo, a friend hit me up and said the first thing on his mind was, what were you mad about? He was like, what are you arguing about? And it's not far off because it definitely looks like I'm feeling something. But I think in this particular photo, I'm actually conversing with one of the people behind us. And all of these fans are very passionate about what they feel. To my right, camera right, if you would, the person right, is my buddy Brady, who's got me this shirt. It's the Super Lucha Bros shirt, which we love. Brady, go win your fight tomorrow. And it's for Penta, and it's for Ray Phoenix, where we went to go see them, part of their Republic of Lucha shop that they have out here in Pasadena. But we had some people behind us who I was just kind of like conversing with. And I can almost guarantee you they said some dumb shit that I was like, excuse me? So it happened a couple times. We made friends with everybody. There was a couple actually next to my buddy and the wife beater here, Mike. who did move away from him because his RFK was pretty high that day. So as he was talking, it became very present to me that I don't know that they're very comfortable with us. So it was an excursion. But yeah, it'll be on the board here in a second. It says, Wallow J, welcome. Hello, gentlemen. WrestleMania weekend was awesome. You are damn right. And it should be 39% of the show today. But we do have other matters to talk about. Of course, Kevin's still on hiatus. He's not dead to us. Don't worry about that. We haven't gotten to full dead-on perspective. So before you get to the jokes, if you arrive late, it is too late to make the Kevin Sherrill is not here. This time, it is an excused absence. He has a parent's note. We know it has been put into the Accords. But I have to ask you this, because I don't know that this made the board, and you can tell me if it did, Tim. What are your general feelings when somebody out of the blue says they have a 350-0 record? Because I've heard of the 400-0 or 401, depending on the stories you've heard. But nowhere in my brain did I think, oh, Hegan's got one of those too?
Yeah, it's a undefeated record slinging contest out there, and you better have triple digits or you're not even in the running. Now, a couple things. One is it's possible that Hickson and Hegan were kind of like American League, National League, so they never had to actually fight each other. So they both essentially went undefeated, and it's just one of those what ifs. We'll never know. Okay. Obviously, they've never fought because they're both undefeated. The other tactic, which is more of a Tim Freeman 209 street tactic, is to say, listen, 400-0 is out there. Let's just say that. Nobody's going to bat an eyelash if I come in at 350 because it's not 400. Like, I'll just slide in as the third or fourth guy on the list of undefeated records. Listen, I'm 99-0, Raf. All right. I'm not at triple digits. I'm not a legend like those guys, but I am undefeated, 99 wins, 0 losses.
I'm glad you bring this up because my next question was going to be, what interesting facts can we present about this show that are similar in the, oh, surprise, it's 350-0? Because I think the real key to 350-0 is not that we want to quantify if it's true or not. There are plenty of fact checkers out there. And yes, it's a part of our history that people, if you really did the research, you could get some goodies out of this. But I think the prevailing thought is, oh, I'm not going to do that. Dude, this is too much work. So they beat us down by saying, I dare you to fact check it. And the jiu-jitsu community says, no, thank you, sir. I have better things to do. So what are the I have better things to do dubious claims that we can get away with here on this show, Tim Freeman?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, in terms of what could we claim? Well, we can claim, and it is true, that we are the highest paid hosts of a pre-show for
That's
grappling. Listen, not just on the planet, in history. As far as, and we're not just talking internet history, we're talking paper, stone, right? Spoken word. We're where it's at, dude. We are elite of the elite. Red belt. Lifetime achievement award.
Can also say that I'm probably the first person to get kicked out of things in jiu-jitsu. So some people will claim that they were the first, but just know I can verify I was the first for someone to say, sir, we need you to leave. So there is that. I can also say we have, what are our other bragging rights? We probably have addressed the most internet comments out of any show.
Yeah.
In jiu-jitsu. Now, some like to say, ooh, we brought up a nice mean tweet. This said really mean things about Ethan Quellenstein. Like, fuck that, dude. We do that all the time. Literally, I have people trying to roast me, and it has been a source of contention here on the show. So we have done that since day one. But just letting you know that.
I think the other one we could connect this together and say the bullpen as a growth of the grappling hour and inside BJJ and all the other cool shit that was happening back in the day on the mat, all that stuff. This is the longest running jiu-jitsu production show in history as well.
Yeah, that's facts. That is, nobody will ever be able to take away our bona fides as the only people still doing it. Because outside of us, it's Joe. And Joe Rogan is not necessarily a jiu-jitsu podcast. You would know that because his references about jiu-jitsu are still from 2009.
I know. They're all from Pride days.
It's just like he'll talk about something and then you'll realize like this dude's back is so fucked up. He hasn't rolled since the first Trump administration. Not that he doesn't want to, I guess, but he's out shooting ear or elk or deer, whatever he's after at this point. So anyway, I guess what I'm saying to you guys is going forward, this might be the game, but anytime I hear somebody bring up a new fantastical stat, we will have a moment of self-brag here on the show. And that is a promise because I thought about it and it made me laugh. And rather than verify or de-verify it, I said, why don't we just go along with it? Because guess what? We've had over 1 million people view this show. Don't look it up. Just take it at the base. There you go. If they can do it, good for us too. Next week, it's going to be 1 billion views. Tell me we haven't. It's 1 billion 1 second views. Think about that. Do the math? Nope, too lazy. That's the new statistic. All right, Tim, with that, we should probably head to the board. And yes, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Now, here's what I'm going to start the board with this week. And it's a big one, Tim. It is this week. Yes, I just went to WrestleMania. And normally we only give everything about a 3-minuter. What I thought would be fun is for the first 5 minutes, I will allow you rapid fire to ask me questions. Any questions you have about WrestleMania, and I will answer them as fast as I can. So that is the exercise here. There's a lot to cover because I went to 7 different events, some associated with WrestleMania, some indie, and mostly all of the WrestleMania events ranging from SmackDown, Mania Night 1, Mania Night 2, and the Raw after Mania. I will take your questions now, Tim.
Out of these 7 events, what was your favorite match?
It has to be Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk. Though, very big appreciation to my girl Io Sky, who was killing it and just got a 5-star review, which is amazing. So it technically, if you're a Dave Meltzer, which nobody is, you rated that one higher than the CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and the Roman Reigns one. However, I will say this. It also had Paul Heyman, which added cinema.
Yeah, Heyman is a master. He's a master. What a great performer. Totally agreed. Second question. Most disappointing match from WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday.
The ending, the night 2, Cody, John Cena, Travis Scott. That's a beast of their own design, though. That was them including The Rock and not getting a payout for that. Now, granted, I was willing to afford them some leeway because they said this is a full year program for John Cena. It was pretty disappointing. Tiffy and, it was Tiffy and Charlotte Flair. That was a hard one to watch because it looked like neither of them were selling for the other. And I will say, on night 1, it felt like the Roar Raiders and the New Day didn't do anything wrong, but the crowd wasn't into it. And I just thought that was supposed to be the Street Profits spot. So there's that.
Who had the better entrance? Was it Tiffany Stratton or who was the girl that she fought? We had the Barbie doll entrance, and then was it Charlotte
It was
Flair that
Charlotte
came up
Flair, yeah.
and rolled the rolls? Who had the
Yeah.
better entrance? Just straight entrance. Which one did you like the best?
It's always Tiffy time for me. Charlotte Flair was classic. Yeah, it's Tiffy time. It's Tiffy time. Don't you know that? It's very important to know. Charlotte Flair had a classic one, but I feel like I've seen it before.
What was the most expensive food item that you saw at concessions?
I'm going to be honest, because my boy Brady, who's fighting tomorrow in Pittsburgh, I wanted to make sure he wasn't eating any of the food, so I went to go meal prep. So the most expensive food, I don't know, but I found a pizza slice that was the size of 2 Costco pizzas for $12.99. Not complaining about that. But I did see somebody at the T-Mobile Arena on Friday that got a raw burger, or I think is it a Mania burger or whatever they call it? A WWE burger is what they called it, I think. And I thought, what a wasted opportunity to call it a meat burger. Like, we always talk about big dudes in wrestling just being called meat. So,
Yeah.
oh, hey, just to let you guys know, if you're watching on Instagram and we're cutting out, that version might be cutting out, but the one that is airing on YouTube, just YouTube it itself should be just fine. But thank you for letting us know. But yes, that was the most expensive one.
You could have George the Animal Steel back there flipping those meat patties. You just cook them for a minute, and then that's it. He just rips off the wad of meat off of the long roll like it's a turnbuckle. I'm dating myself.
You
but
are,
the OG, no. Okay, perfect. Most obnoxious fan.
I have video of this one too. Okay. Last Friday Night SmackDown, there was a dude. I had 4th row seats. This dude had 1st row seats. And they do a thing, you know, where they do like the kiss cam and all that sort of stuff. So that they theme it at WWE where they say, show us your best Undertaker face. And a lot of kids get on it. It's adorable seeing these kids emulate a wrestler that was not around when they were born. So cool. But it's fun. Everything's there. And then all of a sudden, you see this dude drunk and just doing this to the cameraman for a solid minute. He gets it. He does it. It's a shitty impression. And then he sits down defeated. And the minute he sits down defeated, they cut to a kid. And this kid gets a huge ovation. And it was the best 1-2 punch of the whole weekend for me. Because there's one thing I love to do at WrestleMania. Like, obviously, you go for the spectacle. Obviously, you go for the athleticism. But you also go for the people watching. And that, to me, was pristine people watching that I happened to get on tape. And it was phenomenal.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Who had the most flips in their match?
Okay, that's tough because the night before WrestleMania 1, I went to a luchador one. Or it wasn't more of a luchador, but they had a couple luchadors at it. And it was like an indie one on Fremont Street that they produced. I saw a lot of flips there. I mean, honestly, Io Sky has a lot of flips. And hers pay off every single time. Like, I cheered for her like a proud dad every time she did it.
That's great. That's fantastic. Let's get into your biggest surprise. Like, what biggest swerve? What surprised you as a seasoned, salty wrestling fan?
Joe Hendry being a big surprise was good. I like that. I wasn't trying to book the event. So can I just tell you my one small little gripe with people on this? I think the biggest problem that wrestling fans have is that they want to book the finish. So what they do is they send me their thoughts on how it's going to go. And then they'll send me their thoughts when they're mad it didn't go the way they predicted. So really, what they're doing is just yelling about it not following the trajectory that they booked. So I just try to, when I go to them, yeah, sure, I have my predictions, and sure, I'll tell them to people. But I'm not the person who, unless I say it on this show, goes to my friends and goes, told you so. I just go like, yeah, I said it. In fact, the beautiful thing about having a show is it's on record. So usually if I say some shit, it's on air.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, for fun, we'll say, I called that one. Or, hey, Raf, you called that one. Well, thank you. That's so nice of you to bring up. But when grown men are like, this finish wasn't good because they didn't do this, and I was really mad, and actually, I'll use a better voice here because somebody just put this. Guys, pro wrestling is actually fake. You know that, right? You know it's fake, right? Yes. Egg, you were probably the last person to figure out it was fake. So right now, you posting this is a good way of you outing the fact that it probably took you the longest to figure out. But nonetheless, way to put it down in the public record, sir.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Joe Hendry, I was not trying to book who Randy Orton was going to have as an opponent. As soon as he walked out, huge pop. Really enjoyed that. And if you think about it, you want to have a good pop moment because they obviously are going to make the match shorter. And some people were like, man, he got squashed. He just totally ruined the TNA belt. And I was like, dude, he is now the biggest merch seller on WWE.com. I think he's going to sleep just fine because he got Randy Orton to do his gig, to do his stuff. So this has nothing but upside for him. And at the end, they seem to suggest, we'll see if they do it, but they seem to suggest that Joe Hendry will get a make good in the future with the company. And I think that bodes very, very well for them.
Last question, because I know we're up against the time. Did you see any, and if you did, you got to describe them, fights break out in the crowd? Because that's 7 events, man. That's a lot of events.
So when I make friends, I really do actively try to make the best of the situation. So my section, there were a lot of people who had combo seats, which means day 1 and day 2. And I'm super social when it comes to these things. When somebody has a good joke, as somebody who's done comedy, I laugh. I don't no-sell their joke. If I think it's funny, I laugh. And then I like give them props. Like, that was a good one, dude. Good job. I just try to be a good audience member. And before you know it, you're making connections. You're all laughing at each other's jokes. Everybody gets along. I had a very sweet woman on day 2. After I made some Mexican jokes, I wasn't sure where we stood. In fact, it was when Chad Gable, wrestling as Grande Americano, got up and cheated. And I said, oh, he cheated. That's how we know he's really a Mexican. And this woman just under her breath goes, no, he's not. And I go, ma'am, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm Mexican. Like, I feel, and I'll say this on public record, I don't mind making the best choices for your jokes. Yes, people have PC thoughts and making jokes clean, but I still get Mexican jokes. You can take everything else away from me, but big head and Mexican jokes, they're not going anywhere. They stay with this guy. So I'm looking at her being like, no, we're cool. The next day, she gets to her seats, making conversation, and just goes, would you like some raisins? And she had brought in all this extra food. She's like, I have chips, I have raisins, I have some hot Cheeto stuff. Would you like any of this? And I go, this woman, this is my gal. Look at her. And she looked at me and she goes, are you guys famous? And I was like, no.
Yes.
Like,
that's where you messed up. Yes.
No, I was wearing my Grappling Hour t-shirt. And I was like, well, I'm recognizable in a very niche sport, but I wouldn't really ever call it famous. And then I realized, I was like, oh, I'm next to 2 people who, one fights, he has a 14-4 record, and the other is Jimmy House, who's a black belt and a power lifter, who probably could be very famous because he himself is starting to work as a professional wrestler. So yeah, I was around famous people. So by the end of it, she was, But Sergio Loba says Instagram audio is not good. YouTube, it's fine. It just exactly as I said it. That was exactly why I said that, sir.
You know, I think it's fair to say that WWE is slowly becoming the grappling gateway drug. Just think about this. It's like, listen, you guys think this drug is the shit? You need to try smack. You need to inject it right in your arms. You need jujitsu. You need no gi sub only grappling. You want to get even more niche and crazy? Get into that.
Would you like to hear some real talk, though? We're going to get to our other topics, but this is something I think is very important to cover. And I'll put time on this to make sure we don't go too far over. The real hero here, Tim, was actually the fact that on Thursday, I went to Bloodsport. That is Josh Barnett's Bloodsport.
Hey.
It had over 1,300 people in attendance there at the Palms, including a gentleman by the name of JP, who beat the shit out of me at a Naga once, but is now famously on his way close to the UFC. And he was in attendance with like Shane Collins, some other MMA guys who I know. And they were up in like the top of the first row section. So I looked at them and I was like, oh, they're here. They're appreciating this. I will tell you this, though, Tim. People went nuts for Bloodsport. Here's the format. We're used to jiu-jitsu. One match happens. There's a little bit of bleeding. There's a little bit of waiting. But guess what? Bloodsport had better pacing than every other jiu-jitsu event. Now, I know you said, Sergio Lobo, nah, PGF, please. Here's the issue. If you don't learn production from places that actually make money, how will we ever make this sport bigger? So every time you guys complain about other sports having more money, you need to learn what makes them work. So that way you can see how to draw more people. Bloodsport doing about 1,300 plus tickets and an audience going crazy is nothing to ignore. But to us, jiu-jitsu people, they had people like Shinya Aoki, who was in a match. They had wrestlers like Karrion Kross, who is a jiu-jitsu brown belt. They had Natty Neidhart, Pete Dunne, William Regal's kid, and Josh Barnett and Gabe Kidd, who is actively the best working heel in the business right now. And yet, you know why it was so interesting, Tim? They have no ropes on that ring. You can only win by submission or by knockout. So everything gets sped up. So these matches, the squash matches, were like 5 minutes. But the big marquee matches at most were about 12 minutes. And they're designed to be more MMA based. And the audience was there for it. Like a scripted or a planned outcome version of what it is that we do had people on their feet doing standing ovations. And I thought there's something here that I know has existed for Josh Barnett, but him lending his credibility does not hurt that world.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I think it is worth studying because that week, with a lot of people who don't necessarily ingest our product, I thought we could learn a lot by that pacing because people loved the martial arts element, even though they weren't fans. How do we get those people? It's achievable, but you got to think outside the box. So that is my big hint to everybody in the world of MMA and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, good stuff, man. The entertainment is where it's at, not just, who has the best armbar.
Absolutely. But I think it is time to move on to our good friend, Sergio Lobo, who has been dying on the inside to hear what is going to happen at the PGF. So on April 29th, according to my records, that is when the PGF will give its latest updates and information. If you have been watching me online, I have been watching. When I say rewatching, I'm rewatching the events, but I am watching for the first time the PGF documentary, Grapplers. And this is kind of our way of telling you that in a few days, some things are going to be presented that will change the way that we knew what the PGF was. I thought right here, right for our people, Tim, we could take some last predictions before they announce what the big things are going to be. Tim, I give you some time.
So listen, there's going to be 3 major announcements coming up that you don't want to miss. I would venture to say that these announcements these announcements will be groundbreaking in jiu-jitsu, never been done before. So stay tuned for that. I can say this, I could tease a couple things. And you know, prediction wise, it's kind of hard because every time I think I know exactly what they're going to do, they kind of swerve a little bit. And that might be part of the commissioner's sly, like a fox, you know, Bill Clinton style of movement and socializing and getting things done. But listen, you gotta look for money bags. All right. There's gonna be some money bags that are gonna be dropped, and it's gonna change the game. And I think really what it is this tagline right here from the great Wu-Tang Clan: cash rules everything around me. This is about real money. We have completely come in under the second Trump administration, and we've got rid of the funny money. There's no more PGF bucks. That's gone. We're talking about real money, major implications, major announcements. And I will drop this. If you go to pgf.world/rankings, they have their XP rankings up on their site. You can level up your grappling character there. It's like Elden Ring. Got everybody listed. You could check out everyone who's ever competed for the PGF, and it has their XP rankings. It's really cool stuff. Congrats to Ryan Aiken. He's at the top. There's no way he can't be at the top after his season 7 performance. A lot of big stuff coming. I think they're going to announce some pretty big coaches. I think that's probably maybe something that will happen, as well as some a big returning star. So it'll be good shit, man. Good stuff. Pardon me.
You're fine. Nobody cares right here. We're all right. We can say the shit and the fucks here at this show. And it said, I just heard a rumor that Craig Jones might be a coach for the upcoming season. That would be wonderful. But I think we're going to have to come back to that one in a minute, because I think that may run into another area for topic of discussion, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Here's what I would say about the PGF and just their announcements. I think we're at a place now where we've come to expect a lot of things from them. They've definitely upped the production scale. I think the big question and hint that I should give to you, the audience members, is where do you think they can go? Because what haven't they done? That's really the question that we need to start asking ourselves. It's not where do you think they're going to go because they've done this in the past. I think they're always trying to push it a little bit forward. So if you're really coming up with predictions, that's the big question. Is it a new home? Don't know. Are there new people involved? Don't know. What is it going to look like this season? Not fully sure yet, but I can tell you, if those are the areas you are looking at in terms of how you ask questions, you might be able to make better predictions. And given how some of you like to send me your WrestleMania predictions, I wouldn't be surprised if you try to send me questions about, oh, this is what I think the PGF is going to do. Feel free, because I need stuff to roast when we're on this show. I'm not short of needing content. But if you'd like to put that into the ether, and what you can do to pay it forward even more is start liking and sharing and commenting on these videos so that we can get more people to watch the PGF and love it in a way. You probably watch over 30 basketball games per season. That's what the stats say. So you could do well to make sure that you watch every single one of the PGF, because there's a lot less content of that than you get. So every time they put something out, let's get that in there. All right, that's going to do it for the PGF. We look forward to hearing those announcements on. We look forward to that. All right. So you heard a rumor that Craig Jones is going to be a coach, but the big rumor that happened over the week is that Craig Jones is going to serve as a coach against competitive nemesis Gordon Ryan. So, what are our thoughts if these are the two rumored coaches for the inaugural season of the Ultimate Grappler, which unfortunately does have the acronym TUG? Tim, your thoughts?
You know, it's an interesting move because initially I think we all kind of thought it would be Mikey Musumeci versus Gordon Ryan. And there was speculation, and it wasn't all bad. I was kind of looking forward to seeing Gordon needle Mikey day in and day out until he loses it, right? Dumps a bowl of pasta on his head. But they come out, they announce Craig Jones, which I think is more compelling. I think more people want to watch it. It sets up a potential super fight, potentially. I think people would pay to watch that. It's interesting to me. It's like, how is the UFC Fight Pass gonna promote this? This is like the Ultimate Fighter meets Hot Ones. You know, this is going to be something with leg locks. It's going to be something slightly different that we haven't seen before. I think Gordon Ryan is entering his Hulk Hogan phase when he showed up at WCW as Hulk Hogan and nobody liked him or cared.
Oh, sorry.
Everybody
I thought you were about to talk about the racist phase when we found out he had like a sex tape. So I was like, I don't think the public is ready for that one, but go on.
No, he's already gone through the sex tape and the racism stuff. That's out. That's there. You know, Hogan comes out expecting to be beloved, and it's not quite the same. Everybody wants to see the NWO and the new kids in town. I feel like Craig has that energy, and it's possible for Craig to potentially dethrone Gordon as Fight Pass's guy. They might look at this whole situation after the fact and go, we should have went for Craig. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I do know that both these guys like money. They're not stupid, and they probably would work together if they could make some serious bread. And I would probably do the same thing. So I don't hate it. I'm intrigued. I want to see it. I won't be surprised if it's a disaster and not that great. That wouldn't shock me either. But I think there's going to be some entertainment value in it, maybe for the wrong reasons.
Here's what I'm interested in, because the one thing that does happen here is that Gordon in person is not necessarily a huge shit talker, and Craig is the best instigator ever.
Right.
So Gordon excels usually when he has time to write a post, have AI write it in his douchebag form. I'm not sure how he does it. Have John Danaher write it under his secret alias Cyrano. Alias. I just wonder what the presentation looks like when they have story producers or people who suggest things for reality or heighten reality working on it, because I feel like that's the advantage they have to give back to Gordon. Gordon can always just go, well, I've beaten you at these 12 different things, but the streets don't even care about that. The streets have been so entertained by every one of the Bugs Bunny jokes that Craig Jones has hit. If you're Gordon and you appear on this show, you're actually more at risk because you don't have the ability to do that. Watch him, though, take out of context clips and then recontextualize them as he puts them up as posts, where he will get his usual cheerleaders to say, yeah, we suck your dick, so we like this one too. But I feel like that is the only real way that gets evened out. Because to me, that is going to be exactly what you would expect. Gordon is going to say he beat Craig. How come he can't win? Craig won't even be fazed by it. We'll say something that gets under his skin. The only thing that I'm confused about is, given the jokes that Craig has done about Gordon, I don't know that those can make air. If we're talking about the thing that we all talk about, that we all seem to take as fact, I don't think the UFC, which by design, if you look all the way at the top of the funnel, is a Disney product, is going to be okay with those allegations. You can ask Shannon Sharp if you feel like they're above water on those accusations. Nonetheless, just saying, those are my initial thoughts. So we'll see. But as compelling television, it might be interesting. We'll see. It might have also explained the reason why Craig was kind of talking with Danaher. Like, that might have been part of the truce that they were trying to figure out. But I have a feeling that was more for CGI too. So we'll see exactly what those things are in the near future. But we'll go ahead and move on to our next topic here, which is that of Lost. So it does look like it was made an announcement by Craig on a Reddit post earlier this week that CJI lost all of its day one streaming revenue. Yikes. And that was the day it had the most views. So as a result of that, it did lead some headlines to kind of say, well, man, that must suck. Even though they did donate, and this is factual, they did donate to Tap Cancer Out. I guess it begs the question, what did we learn from this, Tim? Because losing all of day one streaming revenue, and that's the best that we have in the business? Yikes.
Yeah, I think what we learned is next time Luke Rockhold wants to come out to Who Let the Dogs Out, we need to check the licensing on that first. Yeah, apparently, Eye of the Tiger is not free to play as your walkout music. And I think this is an issue actually that we're going to start seeing come up more. We can all think back to, and I won't even name names, any jiu-jitsu promotion that puts on super fights that allows you to pick a walkout song, I would speculate doesn't have an appropriate license to use that walkout song. Now, that's really not a problem if nobody's watching. But if I take that and I put that behind my paywall and I have 50,000 eyeballs on it who are giving me money for that product, well, that might be a different story if I'm a record executive and I'm looking how to squeeze as much money out of streaming rights as I can and out of publishing rights. Then, yeah, it makes sense. Like things like this are probably going to come up even more as grappling starts to grow. It's one of those unintended consequences of growth. Like things like the lawyers start paying attention. And when the lawyers start paying attention, everybody's got to behave. And I think that's kind of where we're at. I would expect there to be more focus on this in the future. And jiu-jitsu is a lot of monkey see, monkey do. So once Craig does it or some big organization does it, the rest of them will kind of fall in line probably. But it was a little surprising that this happened. At least it was only 10K, right? That's what I had come across. I don't know if that's true, but I had read that Spotify got the 10K, not Craig. So I don't know.
Is it Spotify or was it YouTube on that one?
Well, I think maybe what happened was they were streaming from Spotify onto the YouTube, like as the music. Like, how are we going to play our music? We're going to stream. I don't know. Maybe YouTube demonetized them.
So
listen, I don't have all the facts. I just have facts. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's not facts with a CTS. It's FAX. It's that old school. Like I'm literally getting the paper roll out fresh. It's hot and the ink is smudging because I'm grabbing it with my hands.
Tim just gets a hand a piece of paper and is like, "This is all I'm working with, man. That's all I know." Our research department, me. This is all I found. Here's what I would tell you. Some organizations have a license. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's like an ASCII. And, it's a very dicey situation. What you can do, because I do know the numbers pretty well that they had, you want to be on top of it the next day and monitor. Because on YouTube, it can tell you can replace the song. The problem is a lot of artists, before it used to be like you get a strike and they go, no. But a lot of artists, if they see that you have a song, or more specifically artist companies, they see that you played something and you've got a big thing like a Craig Jones Invitational, they go, use the song. We'll just take a nice slice of that little pie you got there.
Yeah.
So that's why there's no strikes against it per se. It's unfortunate. You can release the matches one by one, which I believe they have over time, and I think you can take off the music there. Yes, it does identify some new parameters that happens when you're a new organization and event. And it may have to make them a little bit more picky about what they do in the future, but you can get that license. I do believe that certain places do have it. I just don't know the full implementation on YouTube, if you can do it retroactively. Having said that, it also means that it's kind of the fault of not budgeting for that. So these are interesting propositions because you could sympathize with these people in the sense that as Craig said, we never planned to put on an event. We just did. So I would hope that has gone into both budget and considerations for this next one. And to be honest, if you're putting it on YouTube, I don't know what you think you're going to necessarily make off of it. So just something to consider if the business model did have some revenue coming from it. It may have to be niched for that or look into getting a license, which I'm sure they have probably been told now. But I wish them the best. I want them to have it. And I want our fighters to also have the walkouts that make them feel comfortable. But full disclosure, you may not always get the walkout you want. Like, I think fighters and athletes have to understand they have a vision, they have a dream. I want them to have that dream. But if I ever come to them and say, I'm so sorry, we can't do that song, this is why. And it might not matter to them, but it sure as shit matters to the people putting on the event, which means they don't make that money. They can't put on other events. So just food for consideration here.
Can I just pick on this bone a tiny bit here on the walkout song? Here's what I think should happen. If you're a fighter and you don't have like a really stellar record, you're just amateuring, doing the lower level events, you don't even get a walkout song. You don't get to get a fancy haircut. You're not allowed to dye your hair, paint your nails, get a custom mouthpiece. You got to go out there in a plain pair of shorts and prove that you can win. And once you start winning, we'll start talking about you getting your fight song. I can't count the number of times, and jiu-jitsu guys too, I've seen these guys obsess about what their walkout song's going to be. I'm going to pick this because it means this to me, and I'm going to have that, and they're going to do this. It's like, dude, you need to go fucking win. That's what you need to do. Don't worry about your walkout music. So I say, take it all away, make them walk out in silence. You got to earn those tunes. You don't get to just pick your song, pick a top hit song. You ain't Eye of the Tiger, dog. You're 0-1. Get out of here. Nonsense.
That was full on dad mode from Tim Freeman. That was 100% a walkout songs are not a right, they're a privilege, Tim Freeman. Having to earn your walkout song. Like, maybe we need to give our athletes punch cards. It's like, I know you want that Pokemon theme song, but that's not happening, fam. You've only got 2 punch cards here. I need submissions. You know, that's a great incentive. I'm going to have to take that to the boys at Subversive and be like, nah, they got to get a punch card. Submissions give you 3 punches. A win gives you 1. A draw, I take away 1 of the punch cards. So... Hey. I think that's what we're looking at. I don't even mind them losing, but if they draw, boo, boring, take that off. So
yeah,
there's that. Why don't we move ahead to our next topic, which is that cut. On this topic, when we are talking about what to do, it says you did what to get cut or to cut weight. So what is this, Tim? Because when we're asking about it, you're looking at this, you got a great photo here that tells us and maybe signals that a lot of people in the past, when it comes to competing, have had to do a weight cut. So I guess the question here is that you're posing for us, Timothy. What have you had to do that was to get to your ideal weight cut?
Well, I've had to stop shoveling food down my freaking gullet. That was step 1. Had to exercise. That was step 2. That's all common stuff. Then you get to the extras, the black magic, if you will, the unpublished farmer's almanac of weight cutting, because that's how many weight cutting methods are out there. It's wild. There's a lot of tribal knowledge when it comes to weight cutting. PJ Barch surprised the jiu-jitsu community. This guy, he's a classy guy. He's put together. For sure, he'll be in Zoolander 3, right? He's the guy for it. It basically said, hey, man, I was using Adderall in high school to cut weight. And, you know, I can only imagine a starving PJ Barch on Adderall who can't stop talking because he doesn't talk that much already. That's actually a pretty funny version of PJ. But I started thinking, what are the unconventional things, right? What have you done? And I'll tell you the thing that has worked for me, and this is controversial. Not everyone agrees with it, but you start smoking cigarettes. during the camp. And that last kind of little nudge you'll get that appetite suppressant and you could get that extra 2 pounds off. That's my tip. That's the pro tip. Not too great for your lungs, but it's only 6 weeks and then you go right back to it. Pharmaceuticals can be dangerous. We know that. Look, we know that cigarettes are dangerous, but we know what the dangers are. So that's my recommendation, Raph.
Okay. We should probably add here we are not really versed in the means of cutting weight. I for sure am not. I have not had to cut weight at all.
I'm not a doctor, right?
No, none of us are doctors. I'm just making sure that we know people know that. Tim, you're a black belt. People go to you for advice. And you're out here being like, my advice, kid, get a 2-pack and just let it fucking do the work for you for that little edge. What are we doing? I guess the thing I would say to you is, as somebody who doesn't cut weight, I just don't believe it for jiu-jitsu. Maybe in the future, who knows? But I like eating. I like doing what I do. I just tell people, try to do it as early as possible on getting on board. If you tell me you have 2 weeks to cut a certain amount of weight, my answer is you're not cutting the weight. And even then, I go, what's the purpose of doing it? Because yes, people do cut weight in MMA, and sometimes those MMA people compete in jiu-jitsu. And they have a statistical advantage for a little bit. But by and large, what is it going to afford you? You're fighting for a plastic medal. Are you going to win the medal or show how good you are or figure out your improvements? Could be both. So it just depends on what it is. Of course, Egghead says, Tim Ferriss has a good post article on cutting water weight. Now, see, that's a different beast into itself. Cutting water weight is very cool and crucial for a lot of people. But again, most of our guys don't have to go the full Christian Bale because they're legitimately just trying to compete at their local grappling industries. At which point, a 10 weight up or down does not mean your jiu-jitsu is good or bad. It just means maybe on this day you were able to beast somebody or get wrecked. That's it. And you'll probably beat them if you're well and properly hydrated. So we shall see. Nonetheless, let us go to our next topic, which is that of hugs. Yes, we all can get along. Well, Timothy, why is it that we can all get along? What specifically makes it that we can all get along? Because our next topic here, as it's trying to fast forward on me, is that of a fight. So why are we building up people to feel like everybody can get along before we show them how shitty humanity is?
Well, listen, this is the feel-good story of the board where I set you up and make you feel good, and then the fight comes right after, and I'm like, you see how vile humanity is? It's when the comedian goes like, oh, I love women. They're all so great. Women are awesome. Big round of applause for women. And everyone's like, yeah, women, girl power. And then the next thing is like, let me tell you what my bitch wife did. This is kind of like that. But most of the stuff that comes out is like bad stuff, sensational stuff, drama, beef. I can pass your guard. No, you can't. All that kind of stuff. This is actually an article came out in Men's Health, written by Neil Vora, who's a doctor, and he talked about his experience training jiu-jitsu in one particular gym, and kind of, you know how it is when you get into the culture of a particular gym, like you're in, those are your people that you train with them, you sweat, you bleed, you laugh, you make fun of them, you eat, you hurt each other, right? You get tight. And then he moved to another gym. And now when he moved to the other gym, he was the guy at the new gym that had like a different set of, say, political beliefs or personal beliefs or social beliefs. And he was expecting like maybe this won't be that good, but it actually turned out very good because they really didn't care what he thought about things that didn't involve jiu-jitsu. They were there for the jiu-jitsu and the community and the culture. And he just talked about how like it surprised him, how it brought them together, people from all different walks of life. And we've all experienced that. We've also experienced some division too. But I thought, man, what a cool thing to have something good about jujitsu come out, and I'd say like a decent publication. Men's Health's been around for a while. But to have a good, well-written article about a personal experience that really values and uplifts jujitsu, I feel like that deserved to get on the board today. For all the other nonsense and innuendos and double entendres and triple entendres that I make, this is just a feel-good story.
Thank you for that, Tim. I do want to say, when it comes to saying the world can get together, I mean, it's usually pretty true. You do find yourself with a lot of different people on the mat, so I think it is reflective of it. I always am surprised when somebody else stumbles upon that realization. We're lifers. We know it to be true, but it is fun to see it from somebody who still has life in their eyes, because you could see them going, oh, we're not so different after all. They're just me on the sidelines, cutting weight, smoking a cigarette, and going, you new here, kid? You're going to hate that guy in about a week. Don't read his posts. Don't read his social media. You're going to be fine. By the way, kid, this kid actually has a good Kimura, so he's going to fuck you up too. You're going to hate children by the end of this. So I like to just tell people all the time, I'm like, when you come to a gym, it is the rarest opportunity you don't have to be a douchebag. Outside, you're usually encouraged by people, whether it's a social media comment that you basically make fun of somebody and a lot of people get behind it. Sometimes you do something kind of crazy. Somebody films and they're like, you're awesome. You're mean to this person. Like, there's a lot of incentives for being a douchebag. But here on the mats, for the most part, you're going to find most people get along. And if you don't align with what people align with, you can go elsewhere. Just find your crew, find your culture, but don't be surprised if there are going to be some people that you find extremely compelling that you would normally not socialize with outside of it. And just be open to it. There's plenty of people I talk to who I go, I don't go to them for these opinions, but I definitely appreciate them as friends.
Yeah.
Let us move on, Tim, now that we have brought the world together and buy the world a collective Coke. But for right now, you've got a fight for us. What is it that we need to know about this week's fight of the week, sir?
This is some I would say this is, it looks like maybe Jersey Shore in Puerto Rico or something like that. Like I don't know, maybe this was the aftermath of the New Wave breakup. But there's some couples fighting. It's a tag team matchup, intergender tag team matchup. There is a drink. There's an attempt to not spill said drink. This guy had no skill. Only sports fans can get in a fight and hold a drink. A regular dude on the street, you could tell if he watches sports or not based on how he fights, because a sports fan can nurse that alcohol and take a shot and give a shot and not spill a drop. A casual, the drink's the first thing to go. It's got great stuff. Nobody knows how to throw a punch, but it's wildly fantastic to watch.
Well, you've got me excited about it, Tim. Let's go ahead and pull up this fight. And if you would be so kind, sir, I would love it if you could please walk us through what it is that we are expecting to see in this particular fight. One second here.
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so I got a couple ladies squaring off. The girl in the shorts was trying to siphon gas from the lady in the skirt. She chucked a drink at her, and now the gentleman come up, and now see guy with the shirt, he looks kind of stood there like a giraffe for a second. He's managing distance well. He's trying to nurse the beer. And he's like, fuck it. I already spilled it. And then he just starts swinging. He kept the cup in his hand, which is interesting because that's a souvenir cup. And now the girls are going at it. And you have a classic hair pull, which was a real nice move, and a stomp. And now the bystanders come in. These are like the refs and the dudes in the back at a wrestling match who they send in there to break it up. And there's a car brawl. It does involve, and pretty soon somebody goes to turtle position and he gets whacked hard. And then the girl follows up. And now the actual Puerto Ricans are coming up to find out what's going on. They're like, you're fucking up our tourism dollars here. Cooler heads prevail. The couples get separated. I think this is a candidate for a rematch. I
Yeah.
don't think it was quite resolved, but it was pretty fantastic.
Thank you for this. I'm going to go ahead and replay it here. I'll walk you through some of my thoughts, but the initial thing I want to point out before I press this button that makes it happen again is notice that it starts off with the zoom. So you're already getting a real life David Fincher directing this one. Like, this is top quality camera work because somebody knows enough to know, oh no, we got to get closer in on the action.
Yeah.
You can't just be back away. You got to be in the action. Watch this in 3, 2, immediate zoom. Look at that. All right. This is where the trouble starts. Now, yes, you might be asking yourself, I don't remember the scene from the White Lotus, but it's okay. It's one of the deleted scenes from the Ghetto White Lotus. Now, there's some clear instigation here by the hair. The dude in that red shirt realizes his lady is in trouble, comes over, drink in hand. Now, I don't want to say she did anything bad here, but can we talk about this Mariah Carey throwing out the first pitch sort of throw that she's got? Because look, where did that go? How did somebody miss that badly? Look at this. 3, 2, again. She's going to throw something, and it just happens to fly away like a kite. It's a remarkable skill. Nonetheless, she throws her cup down at the floor, so she's 0 for 2 here. Now, this looks like my buddy Jeff Dye, so I'm wondering if Jeff got into this altercation while he was on a break. But he pushes her away. Now, this is where I think things are confusing because I'm not sure what he's essentially doing here, but it looks like a swat away, like, hey, you get. He's still got that orange cup, which looks like he got from McDonald's 20 years ago when they were selling those orange pumpkin themed cups. And he's telling him, like, I'm going to push you. I can't beat up her, but I want to beat up her. Oh, we're throwing hands at her. It's getting real dicey real quick. I have to make sure that I'm not just making that up because he comes swinging at the dude. That's clearly intended for the dude. He doesn't make much eye contact there. But then does a bat around and hits her. So unfortunate there. Do not love seeing that. Now he's calling out a challenger, and he really wants to go with this. Meanwhile, Blondie in the back wants to start attacking that blonde lady. Oh, the turtle hits. They're bad. They're definitely not sanctioned. But you know, when homegirl with the paper towels comes out, that's when you know she's got a mess that she is trying to clean up. Yes, she is definitely the island's cut girl to make sure that everybody has a fair. She's last stitch. They're Stitch, but then last Stitch. So she comes out. And I love player 22 who wants to make sure, hey, guys, can you not try to beat up each other's ladies? That would be super helpful here. And Katy Perry lulls over to go pick something up off of the floor. Well, Tim, you're certainly finding a lot more of dudes who are willing to attack a woman. And it is interesting because in professional wrestling, they do those mixed tag matches where you go, oh, don't worry, it's not violence because it's all simulated. These are the ones where I go, oh, this is like a mixed MMA fight, and I have feelings about this one, and they are not favorable.
At what point did these two dudes look at each other and we going, bros versus hoes? Yeah, like, let's not fight each other. We'll just fight each other's girl.
maybe we can zoom in on the point when they just realize, like, you know what? I see your Schwartz is as big as mine moment here. Because, yeah, they go swinging. They realize that they're really not going to be able to do anything to each other. Like, this is Cyclops and Havoc realizing that they're just going to neutralize their own powers. You can hit each other as much as you want, but it's going to get real boring. And you would think this fight should be over once that dude's on all fours. But instead, he pushes him away and says, ah, shit, you went to go hit her again? I trusted you, bro. So, clearly in the future, guys, when you go on vacation, that is why you have a cup holder in your car. Leave it in the car. Go handle business. Dudes should fight dudes. Please do not fight the ladies. Thank you. That concludes my TED Talk for the day. We do have just a couple comments that I wanted to bring up here. The first was from Sergio Lobo, who put out, in response to our discussion of walkout songs, they need to get paid a lot off promotions. Promotions don't pay grapplers. Sure, some do.
I didn't know that.
I think you would be interesting They also need to get paid. A lot of promotions don't pay grapplers. Okay, no punctuation there. Here's what I would say. I think promotions pay you based off of ticket sales, so I think it is a weird dynamic. A lot of athletes just think they should just be automatically paid. But while I'm amicable to athletes getting paid, what is the return? Are they selling tickets? Are they getting people to watch? So really, good promotions make you a partner and make it so that you can make money off of it. But you guys got to promote just as equally, because otherwise, who's going to watch this? How's the model work? I would love to have an NBA contract where you get the numbers that the NBA would get, but nobody here can secure those numbers. Zero. So in the intermediate time, it's a lot of cooperation. So when the discussion was not pay for grapplers, it was walkout songs. Perhaps we're bringing up the wrong point when we're trying to tell you that's even less money to pay the grapplers. So if we partner together, maybe we can find solutions that can make interesting walkouts, but are from kind of Creative Commons music or that is allowed to be published and used. So we're still not anywhere near an answer, but we were articulating the point of walkout songs cost money, and CJI was the best presentation we've had thus far in the sport. So just letting you know. Thank you for the comment. And then I think Egg was saying white or blue geese only as well. Okay, Mr. IBJJF. So I don't know exactly what he's referencing here, Tim. I'll ask you, do you have any idea what this is entailing?
Yeah, I think he's trying to out dad my dad. When I said you shouldn't be able to wear, your own kit, you got to wear like plain black trunks. He's like insinuating I'm going IBJJF. Listen, I'm not selling the black trunks, although that is a missed business opportunity. They have to be approved and purchased through an approved vendor. Tim Freeman Enterprises, thank you very much. Yeah, I think that's what he's getting at. Listen, Egg, we already hear your dad thoughts in our head before you send them. When you send them, it just confirms that, yes, indeed, we know you.
It's also not a way to diffuse the situation and be like, I'm going to get to the joke before you do. I guarantee you've never gotten to a joke before I've gotten to it. So,
oh, Egg, I love you.
It'll never be a case of like, if I do it and get in front of the joke, they'll never be able to make fun of me. False. Always. And we've got enough material. We'll go to somewhere else. Having said all this, thank you guys for your comments. We will, of course, take them into consideration as we do next week's show. But for right now, I think it's important that we go to tell the people where they can find us. Tim, where can the people find you, sir?
The people can find me at Inside BJJ on all your social media platforms. Go to 10th Planet Nashville. If you're out in Nashville, come and see me. If you're traveling, you're going to Broadway, you're out here for work, you're out here to do some country music listening, some whiskey tasting, maybe some Russian cowboy dancing. I don't know. Come out and see us. If you're out in Stockton for court, funeral, other legal matters, please go see my boys out at 10th Planet Stockton. Great to be here today, Raf. Thank you very much. Stoked that you got to go to WrestleMania. Super, super envious, but happy that you did it. I feel like I was there with you in spirit, and I got a little rub from it. So good work, my man.
Don't need to say that part out loud. Okay. So what I would say to you is I felt like I was there for all of us. I definitely paid enough for all of us. But here's the one thing that the WWE has done that has pissed me off. They have said, hey, Raf, you went to the first Raw on Netflix. That was fun. Did you also go to AEW Revolution because it was in Los Angeles? Of course you did, because you go to all things LA. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have WrestleMania in Vegas, your second home. Great. No problem. Whole bunch of events. Enjoying myself. I wave goodbye. Maybe I'll see you at a Raw or a SmackDown when you come back to LA. It's been fun, you guys. What's that? Money in the Bank is in LA? Okay. When is it? Oh, the week of Subversive. Oh, okay. Cool. Much better. And you're coming to San Diego to Petco Park for Survivor Series? Cool. You know what? Just have my paycheck. Fine. So here I was thinking, like, I will never emotionally or financially recover from this. And then immediately thereafter, they're like, that's so cool. Here's a pre-sale code. I go, fuck you guys. So I will likely be going to those events too, and I will be happy to represent and wave the flag for us. So, Tim, I thank you for your time here today, sir. You are,
I'm stuck.
of course.
I'm
I
stuck,
did see you
Raph.
stuck. I was realizing, why is he judging me so hard for the end of the
I'm
show stuff?
stuck.
No,
Wake me up.
no, legitimate. Like, I'm looking at you right now, and I'm thinking to myself, like, Tim, you have to stop judging me so harshly. Like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to get through to you, sir, and this isn't helping things. You not moving, or you're no selling all of my comments here.
I am. I'm sorry about that, bud.
I guess I could really just continue doing this bit for as long as I want to, but I do want to close the show. Anyway, Tim, thank you for that. Appreciate you,
Thanks,
sir.
brother.
And
Yes.
let's go ahead and close this bitch up. Thank you guys for watching. This has been another installment of The Bullpen. We appreciate you guys. We will be back again next week with new information about the PGF. Make sure to keep an eye on that. That is going to be April 29th, where they make some big announcements. I assume you'll hear some names, some information as to where it will or will not be, as well as some other big announcements. So make time for those announcements, again, happening on April 29th. Some other information, if you like the show, hit us in the likes, the comments, and the subscribes. All those things help us here at this program. They make a big difference. You can like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on Inside BJJ. Go join Tim on his Patreon at patreon.com/InsideBJJ. You can find me at Grappling Hour on Patreon. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, all of the major ones, YouTube. Go like, comment, and subscribe at all those channels. You can see some exclusive content. I put up a post about WrestleMania on my Patreon, and I also put up a fight that I think was so dope it merited you guys getting to see it. So it's, I think, my best work on the mic in recent times. We're scheduling some interviews with some of our favorite fans, so get ready for that, and we may have a new show element coming in very, very shortly. So keep your eyes and ears out for that. But for right now, folks, that is going to, it says, are you advertising for Kevin's position? Egg, I already made mention as to Kevin jokes. There was an embargo on them. You have to see the top of the show to recognize what the embargo is. But yeah, that's going to be it for all of us this week. Thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. We will see you back here next week. Same-ish time, same-ish presentation. But until then, thank you again for your watching. We appreciate you guys. It has been a great day for grappling. We'll see you.